everyone, it is Amber Elise here. Welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, as you guys can tell from the title, I'm going to be sharing with you guys everything that you're going to need to set up in order to get on your way to starting a successful business. So I'm going to hop right into all of this information because I do have quite a bit to share with you guys and I do not want to waste any time. I do want to let you guys know that I am going to try to remember to timestamp. Sometimes I remember, sometimes I don't, but I am going to try to timestamp the information just so that you guys can everything will be categorized based off what it is that you need. When I first started out, I did have to find different videos from different people and put it all together. So in my video, I wanted to take everything that I found and everything that I did and just put it all in one video so that you guys can go back to reference. Another thing, I told you guys probably a little bit over a month ago that I was going to get this video out, and I told myself today I needed to just go ahead and do it. I was a little bit in a slump and I said that it's not fair that you guys don't get the content just because I wasn't getting around to doing it. So I'm trying to be more proactive about doing the things that I tell you guys on camera. If I tell you I'm going to create a video for you, then I'm going to hold myself accountable because this information can help someone else. So I just want to tell you guys that as a business owner, I've been in business a little bit over a month now, and there's just been a lot of emotions, both good, some good, some a little bit low, but it's not anything necessarily bad. It's just those growing pains of starting up a business and trying to learn branding, marketing, what works, what doesn't work. So I do want to just throw that out there. If you guys are just starting off, do not feel like you're coming to someone that is like a professional and so far out of touch with you guys. I'm right there in the thick of it with you all. And so if you guys have any questions or if you just want to vent or anything, definitely leave that down in the comments and I will gladly respond. If I cover something in here and I don't go as in depth as you would like me to, make sure you comment that as well because I want to be able to help you guys. I feel like I got so much help on my journey that I want to just be able to pay that forward and help as many people as I can. So before we get into the content, I do want to let you guys know, if you are new here, that I am a natural hair care line business owner, and I do not say that I am a small business owner. I mentioned that in one of my packaging videos because I don't claim that over myself. I don't despise small beginnings, but I just don't want to put that title over myself. At the end of the day, I am just a business owner. I sell my own natural hair care products. As you guys can see, I have my natural hair out, and yeah, that's pretty much what I do. And my line is based off of really providing moisture in my natural hair care products. A lot of naturals struggle with finding products, but they don't give you long-lasting moisture, and moisture is the #1 key to retaining, to growing and retaining healthy natural hair. So I just want to throw that out there in case you guys are wondering what it is that I do. I will leave my natural hair care website linked in the description box below just in case you guys want to check out my site. So I just decided, let me go ahead and put myself at the very beginning so I don't have to do this throughout the video, although I may reference it a little bit if it helps me better explain a process or something that I did. Now we're going to go ahead and get started in the content. So the very first thing, I'm going to kind of go through the first two fast because this is stuff that you've probably already heard already or you've probably already thought about. But again, I'm going through my process of what I did and how I did it. So the first thing I did was I determined my branding. That was, what was my name going to be? What was my logo going to be? The colors that I wanted, as well as what was the mission of my my business. So if you guys watched my kind of how I started my business and like what was the reason or the driving force video that I did of why I started, then you guys already know that I already had the name. I already had the name from something that I was doing like years ago that I thought was going to turn into a business, and I ended up never using it. So my name was already there. The name of my business is Classy Girl Essentials Hair Care, and my logo, right now, honestly, I don't truly just have like a logo. I do feel like as I continue to progress with my business, I am going to get a more standard logo done. Right now, it's just my name, and I love flowers, so I kind of incorporated that with kind of like a banner underneath it. That is kind of the branding as far as my logo, but at some point I do believe that I will actually get a logo, get all of it trademarked and all of that kind of stuff. We are going to talk about trademarking, but that'll be a little bit later in the video. But that's kind of what my logo was, and kind of how I came up with it. As far as my colors, I love pink, so Pink is heavily incorporated, as you guys will see if you look at my website. It is one of my main colors. I also have burgundy in there. I feel like I was really just trying to go for a classy look, but something that was just kind of nice, simple, and elegant. That was the main thing. I did not want my website or my brand to be too busy. I wanted it to just kind of be I wanted it to be aesthetic, but I just wanted it to be very simple, very classy. So that was kind of how I came up with my colors. You guys, of course, decide what it is. You may want to go more fun. You may want something that's a little bit more muted. And if you know how to mix the two, then, you know, go ahead and go with that. But this is all going to be based off of your business and kind of what works for your niche or your market. And don't be afraid to throw a little bit of your personality in it too, because that is one thing that will separate you from your competition. Don't feel like you have to just repeat what you see other people do. That's actually kind of I feel like you can use other people for reference, but it's something that you kind of want to stay away from. You definitely don't want to copy, because you want to have your own unique brand, and that's what your customers and visitors that come to your site are going to appreciate you for. Because even though it is your brand and even though it is your business, people are still looking for that personal connection. Like, they're still supporting you in a sense. So just kind of keep that in mind whenever you are starting off with your branding. The next thing is going to be, you're going to want to determine your socials. Of course, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Lemonade, Pinterest, all of those different great websites that are out there that can be used for marketing and different things like that. So I have a TikTok, I have an Instagram. This is my YouTube, so I have like an unofficial YouTube for my channel. I didn't really want to create anything separate because the content was kind of going to be the same. And I don't feel like I have enough content to produce for my business right now to actually delegate an actual YouTube for it. Lemonade is good, which is also run by TikTok. And if you guys are into Pinterest, then that is also another avenue that you guys can use as well. So of course, the things you're going to want to think about when it comes to your socials, you're going to want to know what is it that your bio is going to say. You can mention your products and your services that are offered. Of course, you're going to be kind of showing and telling what is going to be offered. And something that with your socials, before we move to the more meat of this video, you want to make sure that your socials and your content, and this is honestly something that I am still working on, you guys. I feel like this is just going to be something that I'll always have to work on. You want it to still be, again, that personal touch. You want your content to feel personable. So you don't want to start off with, well, you'll start with, of course, posting about your services and your products and stuff that's offered, but you still want to give it a personal touch. You don't want to seem like you're just throwing content out there and it's like, buy this, buy this, buy this. You want to be able to create an emotional connection with your potential customers, potential followers, something that brings value to them. So hopefully your product is something that brings value to whatever your target audience is. For me, it's natural hair, and the value that I want to bring is, my mission is to provide products that are going to not only promote the growth, but also allows the customer get the growth and also obtain it by having very moisturizing and hydrating products, which is something that I feel lacks in a lot of natural hair care products. So that's something that I can talk about in my content that I make, whether that is a carousel post, whether it's just a regular static post, a story, a reel. You want to make sure that you are relaying all of that information in a nice, concise way that doesn't feel too salesy. And this is something, like I said, you'll have to kind of practice to get used to it. Now, there are some things, there's nothing wrong with having that component, but you should still also care about your customers as well. And just kind of feel like, just kind of learn how to navigate selling versus selling, but also incorporating that personal touch that makes a person say, I need this, and I feel like this person product is going to help me obtain whatever that specific goal is. So I just want to encourage you guys that if you are struggling with it, don't give up. Again, reference others. And I will say, with social media, I don't ever think that you should just copy, but I do feel like there are a lot of things that are great for referencing and kind of seeing what works in your market or in your niche. So kind of look at that, but of course tailor it to what is going to be specific for your brand, and you're not just basically copying and pasting, because your potential customers and the viewers, they're going to know that, especially if you're doing something that a bigger brand in your niche is already doing. It still needs to feel authentic. But I do still feel like always you should be referencing, studying the competition, but also making those little tweaks that will let your customers know why your product is better or why you add more value. And don't forget that personal touch whenever you're doing your packaging or whatever it is. You are still at the point now where you can personally put little notes on just to show your appreciation for them supporting your business. The thing that I started thinking about was where I wanted to sell. Did I want to use Shopify? Did I want to use Wix? Did I want to use GoDaddy, TikTok Shop? You can list your products on YouTube, which you guys will see tagged on my video as well. Local stores, different markets and vendor events. And also Amazon is also another avenue that people use. You can use Etsy as well. So again, all of these things were a note that I started in my my phone. Before I ever even got started and allowed myself to get overwhelmed, I told you guys I went through all of those videos and I just wrote out a little note in my video of everything that I knew I would need to accomplish, or everything that I would need to actually get my business up and started. So I went with Shopify. I love Shopify. I personally like it. I have had a Wix a long time ago when I told you guys my first kind of startup that I ended up not going with. And this was years ago, maybe like 7 years ago now. But I feel like Shopify is very easy. It's very user friendly. There's a lot of content on YouTube if you don't know how to get things set up. I watched videos of all the way how to set everything up, from listing products to shipping. So there's so much information out there. And another thing that I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be including videos that I used to help me with this. So if I can't explain it well, or if you need a visual of exactly how to do something, I'm going to share with you guys all of the videos that I personally used to do each one of these steps. So if a video is included, then that means that I used it. If I don't have something, just reach out and I can see if I can find something. But I'm only including videos of what I use, which was mostly with like legalities and, like I said, setting up my Shopify website. So Shopify has themes. They have free themes, but they also have themes that you can purchase. I went with a free theme just because I feel like it included everything I needed. I was still able to customize the way I wanted to. If you are good at coding, then that's perfect, because you'll be able to go in and understand how to change certain elements. I'm not good at I don't know how to code at all, actually, but I didn't even need to know how to code, because again, it was still very simple and straightforward enough for me to go in and do my website. I did my entire website on my own by myself. So, and I'm telling you now, I'm not tech savvy at all. So that just goes to show the ease and the user friendliness of Shopify, handling my orders, all of it. I absolutely love Shopify. So I'm a Shopify user. I will let you guys know that. And I also feel like they're very cost effective, and they're the most affordable from what I've seen with some of the other competing websites. So just keep that in mind as well. I used GoDaddy to actually set up my website domain, and it was very, very easy. I used a .com domain, but they also have .net. They have basically all of the different whatevers. You can choose from whatever you want. I think the pricing does change based off of what you decide to go with, but they do also do promotions. So like for my Shopify, it was get the first 3 months, I want to say for $1 or something like that, and then after the 3rd month I will go ahead and get charged my yearly subscription, because I decided to do yearly instead of monthly. And then as far as my GoDaddy, they had a get your domain for a penny promotion, but it just fluctuates. So don't think that you're gonna go on there. They may not be doing that right now for the .com. They may be doing it for the .net, but they did have a promotion again where it was very feasible, and they also offer to add like extra protection, which you guys are going to want to do, because you don't want people to just be able to go in and steal your information or like your domain. So because it is going to be public record, so you can add it on for, I think, like maybe like $10 or $11 at the time when I did mine, to have to get full protection of your domain. Again, keep those things in mind when you are getting all of this kind of stuff set up. If you have have a large enough following, or if you actually have a brick and mortar, then you can also, or like a business, I think it's like a business license. I didn't need a business license to start my LLC or anything like that, but some markets, some niches and stuff like that, I know you guys actually do need that. If you have that, you can get past the needing a certain amount of followers on TikTok to set up a TikTok shop, which can also expand eyes on your business. Local vendor events and markets, everybody knows about those. You guys can try those out. And then local stores. So I have beauty supply stores here that really supports local businesses. So if I wanted to, at some point I could go down that route and also look for stores. But I have heard about other people saying that businesses have saw them on their socials and reached out and said, hey, we really like your products that you offer. We would love to you know, sell them in our store. So that's also an option. And then Amazon, I don't know a whole lot about, but I just know you can sell on Amazon. So that's something, if you guys are Amazon lovers and you want your products to be on Amazon, that's also something you can do. As the most important part, which is going to be legal setup. I feel like this is really the part that I really wanted to focus on with you guys, because there's so much information in it. So what we're going to be going through is things like your business setup, your business formation, trademarking, business bank accounts, virtual addresses, your EIN, your FIC, ENID, the BOI report, license and permits, possible business lawyer, CPA, legal documents, stuff like that. And I know that sounds like a lot, and I know it sounds scary, but it is not. It was actually some of the easiest, it was actually some of the more easier parts for me, and I mean that honestly. So the first part is your business formation. Do you want an LLC? Are you an incorporation? Are you a corporation, sole proprietor, all that kind of stuff? I opted for LLC, which I feel like most people starting out do. But again, this is going to be based off of, you know better than me what type of entity you want to be. So I am an LLC, which means I will file with my regular, whenever taxes rolls around, I am like still consider, even though my business is separate from me, as far as like the LLC protecting me from any legal issues. No one will be able to come after my personal assets. They would only be able to come after the business, but I would file everything together. So I absolutely love it, because I don't have to look for separate CPAs or anything like that. I can just take all of my information to my CPA, and they will handle filing for me. So I went through Busy, the company. I felt like they were, I love their entire setup of everything. So I went through Busy, and all I had to do was pay the $100, or I think it's either $100 or $105 filing fee that my state requires. The actual website does it for you, so everything was done for free. I just had to pay my filing fee with the state of Louisiana, since that is where I live. And they set up everything, my articles of organization, all of the legal stuff that comes with setting it up. All I did was I had to go through, fill out the information, making sure that I did that correctly, and then I just pressed submit, paid my money. And honestly, don't ever pay express for anything, because I think within like a couple of days my LLC was formed. I do remember watching a video for that, so I will find that video and link it next to like business formation, so that way it showed step by step all of the information that I needed to put in. There's also websites like LegalZoom, Zen Business. These are some of the ones that I found. I personally did not use them, obviously, but make sure you do your research to figure out which company you want to go with and which one you feel the most comfortable with. Also, there's always the option to do it yourself. So if you want to go through and you want to do all of the filing information, then you are more welcome to do that. However, just make sure that you are comfortable with everything that you are filling out and making sure you're doing everything appropriately. You want to make sure that your business is actually set up correctly, which is why I chose to go through Busy. Now next, I don't really feel like I to talk about trademarking next, just because it was actually one of the last things that I did, but it was still fairly simple. It's through the USPTO, I think that's the acronym for it, website. Once you sign up for your actual, once you create like an actual login, you will have to go through actually verifying that you are a real person and who you say you are, which was absolutely simple, because there's like this other, there's a different website that it will reroute you to, and then once they certify that you are who you say you are, you can go back and you can actually start working on either your patent, if you need to patent something, your trademarking for your business name, your logo. So the only thing that I have trademarked so far is my business name, just because again I did see in the foreseeable future that I would eventually get a different logo, so I didn't worry about doing a logo right now, just because I do think that at some point that will change. I am going to show you guys, I am going to link the video that I used of the lady that walked through the entire process of what to fill out. I did my trademark on my own. Now, I don't have it yet because it is in a queue that's going to take anywhere between 6 months to a year. You heard correctly, 6 months to a year for trademarking, because they are so backed up with the amount of requests and applications that are put in. So I will let you guys know. Maybe I'll come back and put in the video, I mean put down in the comment section or something, once I finally get all of my trademarking stuff. But basically, you'll fill out the application, you'll wait, it'll go in queue, and you'll wait for someone to start reviewing it. Now, with the trademarking, you can trademark before your business is ever up and running. I would highly suggest, unless you have a name that you are just really worried about somebody taking, or somebody's already trying to steal it or something, I would say I would wait until trademark until the day you actually start your business, because if you don't, you have to pay fees just to go back and say now it is being used. So there's like a declaration of intent or something like that. You can file everything, but then you have to come back once you actually start using that name and pay another fee. I think it's like maybe $100. Guess I should say, or should have started with, trademarking starts at the base of $350. That's per class. So my business was, I think, like class 3 or something like that. I only filed in one class because it was just natural hair care products that I was doing. But every class, if you have a business and you have multiple different things that you offer that don't relate to one another, you have to pay $350 per class. So it can get pretty expensive. Thankfully for me, I only had one class, so the $350 was all I had to pay, and it was $350. It wasn't like $350 plus tax. It was $350 even. But I do want to mention that, just because some people don't know that you're going to be charged per class, which is why I say I feel like if you're going to do it, then you might want to wait until you are actually up and running. I waited until the actual day that I launched, because I did not want to have to worry about going back and paying extra fees, because now I have to say, oh hey, I'm actually using the business name or the business logo that I said I was going to use. If you have to go in and change something because you did something incorrectly, make sure that you are going through it like a fine-tooth comb. I cannot tell you how many times I went through my application to make sure everything was spelled right, everything was written right, as far as like addresses and stuff like that. You want to make sure that all of that stuff is correct, because if you have to say, hey, I need to change something, you are going to be responsible for those fees. So I did read where if they deny your trademark for any particular reason, you do have a time period where you can contest that. And I don't know if it's a fee for that. I can't remember if there's like a fee or if there's just like a grace period that they give you. But I'm not of much help when it comes to the logo part, because I did not upload a photo or anything like that. But obviously you want to make sure that your stuff doesn't look like the McDonald's arches or Starbucks or something like that. You want to make sure that yours is its own entity and it doesn't look like anything that's already trademarked, because your application will be denied, and most likely it will stay denied because you can't use something that's already out, guys. I mean, I think that's common sense. So that's all I'm going to say about trademarking. You absolutely can do it yourself. You do not have to have a lawyer unless you absolutely want to, and unless you absolutely want to pay those heavy lawyer fees to do it. I am a huge DIY person. It's not really even like a I don't know, I just feel really great when I do stuff on my own and I'm like, wow, I did that, because I feel like it gives me a boost to know, like, whenever I am in a slump, like, you did this on your own. So just imagine what else you could do. I'm just a DIY person, and of course, who doesn't like to save money? So that's another thing. I like to save money whenever I can. If I have to pay for something to be done right, I will. But if it's something that I can do on my own, I'm absolutely going to go for the DIY option. So I just want to encourage you guys that if you are worried about that and you think that you have to pay a lawyer or something to do it, you don't. You can do it on your own. The next thing I have is a business bank account. Now, you can't get your business bank account without actually setting up your LLC. So maybe I'll come back to that and we'll talk about a little bit of the other stuff, and then once we've covered that, we'll come back to the business bank account. So next up, you're going to want a virtual address. And actually, you're going to want to probably get your virtual address before any of this other legal stuff that I talked about, like forming your business, trademarking, because you are going to have to put your address on legal documents that are going to be visible to anybody that wants to see it, because legally, as a business, that information has to be out there for people that want to look you up. So you don't want your home address on legal documents, and I mean, you can just think about how dangerous that is. So a lot of your legal documents are going to require you to put your domicile address, which is where you physically stay, and then you can use your virtual address for business for like the parts that are going to be posted online and stuff like that. So I just did the basic virtual address, and I used iPostal. So I will link that website next to like virtual address. And I don't have like a video or a walkthrough because it's pretty simple. Like, you don't even need help setting it up. You just basically have to decide, what do you want? Do you want the very basic one, which is what I got? They also offer like, if you're like a brick and mortar and you need an actual phone number and stuff like that, they have different plans. I think they have three plans, but I just opted for the very basic one because that's all I really needed. I just needed the virtual address. So keep that in mind when you guys are getting ready to start up your business. Please get some type of virtual address so that your information is not just floating along on the internet, because just think about how scary that would be for some random stranger to have your actual home address. So that's pretty straightforward. So we're not going to talk too much about that. I just want to let you guys know that that is something that is out there, and it's absolutely something that you should utilize just for your own privacy and protection. Next up is your EIN, which is your business identification number. You can kind of think of it like your social security number, but it's like the social security number for your business. Super easy to do, and guess what? It is free. Do not, let me repeat, do not spend money for an EIN. You can do this on your own, and it doesn't take that long. It takes maybe like it took me 5 minutes to get my EIN. So I'm going to there was a CPA guy that I got a lot of his videos on how to do this stuff, so I'm going to include it. His videos are only like 5 to 10 minutes long, so you don't even have to worry about them being that long. He's going to walk you through exactly how to do it, and he also does it for foreigners as well. So if you're not from the United States, he shows what you would need to do if you are not a U.S. resident and what you need to do if you are a U.S. resident. He was absolutely he was a very vital tool in helping me set up a lot of this stuff for free. And he's going to reiterate to you guys, for free. Unless you just absolutely want somebody to do it and you just like throwing away money, then go ahead and do it. But I'm telling you guys, this stuff is not as scary as it seems, because he's using the exact same website that's going to be pulled up in front of you, and he's literally telling you what to put in to get your EIN. So the EIN is, you're absolutely going to have that. There's no option. You have to have this because you have to pay taxes. They have to be able to identify your business. So there's no way of getting around an EIN number, but there's no reason to avoid it because it's for free and you can do it within 5 minutes. Next up is going to be your FIN, CEN ID, which I think is kind of like it's like the best way I can describe it is something like fraud. I won't even say fraud protection, but it's like it has something to do with it. It's been a while since I had to look all of this stuff up, but you're gonna want one of those, because I think for your forming your LLC or your business, I think they're gonna ask for that. No, for your BOI report, you're gonna need it. So it's something that you want to just go ahead and get. Again, it was also free, and I have his video of how to do that, so I'll link that as well. Next up is the BOI report, which is something that is fairly new. It's basically this report that you have to file every year for new businesses. I think it was like a certain cutoff of if your business was formed before a certain time period, you didn't have to worry about it. But if you are watching this video, I'm assuming that you are trying to start a new business. So you're going to have to do your BOI report. Guess what? For free, and you can do it on your own. It does not take that long. It's basically you plug in information, you submit it, and they tell you congratulations, you submitted it. And then whenever the next year rolls around and you have to do it, you'll just go in and do the same exact thing. I will link his video of how to do that as well. A lot of these I have videos for because I just wanted to make sure obviously I was doing this stuff right. I wasn't going to just go out on a whim and do it on my own, but there I have another video for that as well. Now, your licenses and permits, I may or may not be that much of help for that, because I did not need any licenses for my business or really permits. The only thing I have is like a seller's registration that was sent to me from, but I did have to apply for that. And I live in the state of Louisiana, so it's really going to be different for everybody. I may include the website for that just in case you are from Louisiana and you are looking into how to set that up. But if not, then it probably won't. Like, I needed a seller. Well, I think actually everyone needs like a seller's permit for whenever you go to like vendor events. You can also use it for some companies. Like one of the companies that I order from, I had to give them my seller certificate, and I don't have to pay taxes on any of my orders whenever I am ordering my butters and stuff like that, and my oils to make my hair care products. So that's something you'll probably need. But as far as like your licenses, like do you need a business license and all that stuff, I can't help you with that because I didn't need it. I'm only mentioning it because that's something that you'll need to look into if you are starting a business, and I wanted to mention that as a legal thing that you probably need to look into for your particular market. I listed possible business lawyer because I wanted to highlight the importance of, I was able to do a lot of this stuff and I did not need a lawyer. Actually, I did all of this and I didn't need a lawyer. And I actually reached out to a lawyer in my city just so I could get kind of like an idea of what I would be charged if I actually needed one. And it was around $5,000, I think, that they quoted, and that was just like the retainer fee. So I just actually kind of did that just to kind of see what would I be facing if I needed them to do all of this. And this is just to retain them. This isn't even to get them to do the actual stuff like the BOI, the EIN, the FIN, all of that stuff that you can do on your own. So just keep that in mind. As far as the CPA, you want to make sure that you are reaching out to a CPA that is obviously well versed. But if you're forming an LLC, then again, you're going to be filing with your regular taxes. So you can pretty much use whoever you're already going to for that. So I just wanted to mention CPA because that is a part of the business aspect. And then lastly, legal agreements and documents. So I used Rocket Lawyer, and this is going to be for your whatever like legal document that you feel like you may need to form for your actual business. I did the 7-day free trial. I went in, put in all of my information, and as soon as I got my documents, I canceled. Because I only need them for myself right now. I didn't have to file them with the state or anything, but I wanted to have them just in case somebody asked. So that is what I did. You guys, you may find that you actually need more information. You guys may actually find that you need legal documents. And that is I feel like Rocket Lawyer was really great because they already had templates and stuff like that. I didn't have to go in and figure out what do I need to include in this. All of it was already pretty much there for me. So I just want to throw that out there if you guys are worried about legal documents and stuff like that, like privacy policies, all of that. Now I will say with Shopify, your shipping policy, well, like your terms of service, your private policies, cookies policy, all that stuff, they have templates already built within their system, and you can just go in and tweak it to your liking for your website. So there was another thing that I really liked about Shopify. They took all of that kind of stress off of me, so I just wanted to mention that since we are talking about legal documents and stuff like that. But Rocket Lawyer is who I would recommend. I didn't look into any of the other companies, so I can't speak for them, but they were pretty good as far as the wide range of documents that they had. Now we're getting towards the end of the video, so I'm just going to quickly cover things like determining supplies needed, like your thermal label and printer, your shipping labels. This is if of course you're not like a digital product business. If you are actually going to be selling physical products, then you'll need your thermal printer. I will include the one that I use. I'll include the shipping labels that I use. Most of this stuff I got off of Amazon. I actually picked my thermal printer up at Walmart, but if I can find it online, I will include it. Your packaging, like your bubble wrap, your actual envelopes. Are you going to use boxes? All of that kind of stuff. You want to be thinking about that. Of course, you want to always include some type of thank you card. Business cards. I got my business cards through Canva. I designed them myself. They're very simple, straightforward, and to the point. I love Canva because you can get a lot of them for cheap. So they're not very expensive. I looked into Vistaprint. I looked into all of the other different printing companies, and for me, Canva was the one that I loved the most because I did a lot of my designing on Canva just for my actual like labels that I made for my actual products. I made all of those on my own, and I did it through Canva, and then I uploaded it to my company. I gotta go back and find the name of the company, so that way when I get to talk about that, my product labels, it was Printing. So I bought my actual template off of Etsy. I bought like this package that came with a bunch of different sizes for templates, and then I signed up for the pro version of Canva, and I did cancel it before it charged because I think it was like a 30 days, so I was able to get all of my labels and stuff done within 30 days. And then I pretty much put everything into my template, and I really loved Printing because you can upload your label as many times for human review before actually clicking to purchase them and getting a label that just looks nothing like what you thought it was going to look, because stuff would have been cut off. It wouldn't have fit. So Printing is an actual website that I went with for my labels, and I made all of my labels on my own. Like I said, I got my template off of Etsy. I fixed everything to make it look how I wanted it to look for my personal liking, and then that is how I designed my labels. So that's why I went with Canva, because I was already editing and everything on there, and so I just decided to go ahead and make my business cards and get them printed off of there. Lastly, you're going to want to get your vendors. So if there's Amazon, it could be Etsy, wherever you are purchasing your items to actually make your stuff, you just want to find your vendors. Again, I can't help much with that because I don't know what you guys are. I don't know what type of business you guys are in. I don't know if it's skincare, body butters, natural hair care, or if you're a digital marketing website or a clothing brand. But you're always going to want to find vendors. So of course that'll just be something kind of like a little bit of homework for you guys to do. And then you'll get your testers. I had testers for my products, so I didn't just make a product and say, okay, here it is, let me give it to the world. I actually got testers and tested it out on different hair types, different porosities, stuff like that. And then that was pretty much it. So I know this video was pretty long, but I wanted to pack all of the information here, and I definitely wanted to be able to put everything in an area where you guys could just find all of the information you needed in one video, and you didn't have to keep hopping around, which is why the video was so long. But I really do hope that it helps you guys. Like I said, all of the videos that I use to do certain stuff will be listed next to like EIN, BOI report. I'll kind of label it like that in the description box so that you can easily access it. So that's pretty much it. I'm going to go ahead and end this video. If you guys have any questions, please leave them in the comment section. I will be I will do my best to help you guys in any way that I can. I hope that you guys like this video. Please do give me a big thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe if this video was helpful to you guys. I would really appreciate it, and it would really help my channel. If you guys are natural hair girls or guys, and you are just watching this video because you're getting ready to start a business, even if it has nothing to do with natural hair, but you want to check out my natural hair care products, I will leave everything in the description box, and I will also have some of my products tagged along the bottom here. And until next time, I will see you guys in my next video.